Welcome back to FM21 Redemption. Now, we all knew that a first season in the French top division was going to be difficult, but you could do without this news on top. In just your second game of the season, your talisman and scorer of goals, Salah Al-Blouchi, breaks his leg and is out for up to 8 months. We're pretty much writing him off for the campaign. It's going to make survival even more difficult. How have we got on without him? Well, in this episode, we're going to show you, as well as playing a very tricky tie against Olympique Lyonnais. Okay, full disclosure time. I don't think any of us had this particular run of form on our coupons. We've been superb so far this season. 8 games in, we've won 7 of them. We've been playing really well. In that last episode, we kicked things off with a very encouraging 3-0 win against Rennes. Then we had 2 really tough games in a row. Monaco and Olympique Marseille. Well, we beat AS Monaco 2-1. They did shade the XG, but it's not like we got lucky in this game. We had plenty of efforts. We scored a goal from a corner with young Nicolas up from the back. He scored 4 goals for us so far this season, and he's played in all 8 games. I didn't think he would be ready for Ligue 1 football, and honestly, his goals are probably topping up his average rating, but he has been good so far. And then Lansana Bar got the other goal for us. You'll see in the 27th minute, this was when Al-Blouchi got injured. As he went off, we didn't know just how bad that injury was going to be. We're going to be doing without him up until about February, March time at the earliest, I think. But to beat Monaco 2-1 was a real shot in the arm. But in the next game, well, we followed it up by beating Marseille. This was an away game. And you can see that 2 players in particular have really come to the fore to help replace the goals of Al-Blouchi. And they are Lansana Bar, who's now got 7 goals in 8 from over on the left wing. And then the man that has just been a maestro, a magician, is Maciek Karwot. He's just been called up to the Polish squad. He's got 6 goals and 6 assists in just 7 starts. You can see last season he was always a goal threat. There weren't that many assists to his game. This season, well, he has taken the step up to Ligue 1 like the proverbial duck, and he has been absolutely superb. After those 2 encouraging results, we then got 3 more wins on the bounce. We beat RC Lens, we beat Valenciennes, we beat Montpellier 6-1. This was absolute party time. The only blot so far in our copybook has been a defeat to FC Nantes. Now, they are a very good team. They're up near the top of the table, and we weren't that good in this game. We've got the better XG. The chances were pretty even. But they carved us open. It's the first time in this season in the top flight that we really have been vulnerable to solid attacking play from the opposition, rather than conceding to the occasional breakaway or set-piece goal. So I was a little bit concerned that maybe the honeymoon was over and we might be having a bit of a reality check. But in our most recent game, we played Saint-Etienne, managed by the great Zilla Blitz. Check out his own YouTube series where he's managing down in Saint-Etienne. But we were able to do his team 4-2 on this occasion. Bat again on the score sheet. And another player who's done really well since the injury to Al-Blouchi is Sofiane Benayeda. We bought him in for £5.5 million in the summer. He didn't look like he was going to be our starter until the Al-Blouchi injury. He's got 5 goals in 6 starts and a sub appearance. So he's come to the fore as well. And it's been pretty heartening to see. Today, we're going to be playing Olympique Lyonnais again, one of the grand old names of French football. Let's just show you how the table is looking. We are second in it. In fact, we're only second because Paris Saint-Germain have already played 1 game more than us. If we were to win today, we'd be 2 points ahead of PSG. You'll see that Olympique Lyonnais are just behind us in 3rd place. So they are no mugs. You can see where the Nantes team are that we lost to, but you can also see where the Marseille side is that we beat. And Monaco and Rennes are having reasonable seasons as well. So it's not like we've been soft track bullies so far this season. We've actually been playing well. We've got selection problems for today's game though. It's not just the Alblushi injury. We're missing other key men. Before we show you the squad, maybe we should just check in with our old boys and see how they've been getting on out there in the Arctic Circle. So here's our old Trumps, darling boys. I say our old boys. We barely recognise a name on the team sheet anymore. They virtually sold off every player that we bought through. The squad is unrecognisable, really. They've got players like Hulk Hogan in goal, Andy McDowell in defence. In fact, if we have a look at our transfer history for the club, you'll see that lots of the familiar names have now all gone. Ty Sperovic's been sold off. Mats Nacer is now out there in Rotterdam. Oscar Berg has gone. We've signed Sturvold. Jonas Skogvang Pedersen is moved to Rosenborg. Morten Fjellingsdal's there with him. Hugo Emper is now out there in Nijmegen. So you can see that a lot of our favourites have gone. They've raised £17 million. They spent 1.4 million. They got rid of more of our old guard the season before. We signed Grachev. They got rid of Heidecker. The player that we signed back from Tromsø, who they stole from our youth academy, well, they sold him about 6 months after they sacked us. Berntson's gone. Hartviksen's gone. The squad is unrecognisable. It means that they are struggling a little bit in their league. They are down there in 12th place. I guess you'd say they're fairly comfortably above the relegation positions. They've got, just 7 games left of their season. They should be okay. They've also been in European competition this season, although they didn't last too long in it. They got through the preliminary round against Maccabi Haifa before a tie against Victoria Guimaraes, which they lost. If we go back to the season we were sacked in, by the way, we were on a good little run in Europe and we got all the way to the group stages of the Euro Cup 2, but we decided to sacrifice those early games in that group stage to try and make sure that we kept our job in the league. Look how well that worked out. We lost to Montpellier, we lost to Sevilla. Well, they managed to get a draw against Zurich in both the home and the away ties before losing to Montpellier and Sevilla again. So they went out of Europe, but I think you could say that's a pretty good run for them. They're a club that has got lots and lots of money now. We got them a 3rd place finish. Their new manager got them a 3rd place finish. But in this season, they're struggling a little bit. But we will keep you up to date on how all of those old youth players are doing. Some of them have joined us in France at Toulouse. Others have joined other Ligue 1 clubs. We'll encounter them during the course of the season, including Assad Jawad, who's now at Marseille. But enough reminiscing about our former team. Let's show you the selection problems that we've got for today's game. Okay, the problems we have for today's game all revolve around this guy. Maciek Karvot has been superb, but has picked up enough bookings in the early part of the season that he is suspended for today's game. And we don't really have a direct replacement for him over on the right wing. We could play Larsen Pleam there. He's comfortable out on the right and he's quick enough to be a winger. But crossing of 7 and vision of 9 going to mean is a little bit less of a creative option out there. The other player who's a natural in that position is Sofian Benayeda, but he has been crucial in filling in for the injured Alblushi, and he's not that quick for a winger, and his crossing is not that good either, so we're going to make a little tweak to the system. We're going to bring in young Morten Sturvold for today's game. Now, he is not so accustomed to playing out there on the right, but in the last video when we showed you the signing of Sturvold and discussed how we were going to try and get him to deputise for Chan as a box-to-box midfielder, that old sage, Armin Korsan, said, "Are you sure about him being a box-to-box midfielder? With that aggression, that bravery and that tackling, is that the best role for him? Have you thought about using him as a wide advanced playmaker? Trying the killer balls, using that flair decision-making off the ball and vision to try and be more of a creative force out there?" It made a lot of sense. He's not comfortable playing there, but if we could train him up in this role, well, it would be another little tactical option for us. Don't get me wrong, as soon as Karvot is available, he'll come back in here as a right winger, but Karvot's only on loan. We can't bank on him being a long-term part of our tactic. And when we first joined Toulouse and we designed this 5-2-3 formation. We were originally playing an advanced playmaker out on this side, but the player we had lined up for it quickly left the club when Brentford came in and met his release clause. Maybe Sturvold might be a good player to train over on this right-hand side. So we're going to give it a half today, maybe 60 minutes, see how Sturvold gets on. If it's a disaster, we can always bring the pace of Larsen Pleam on and all laugh at his terrible crossing as he shanks balls into the stand behind the goal. Other than that, it's pretty much our first choice team. I say first choice. I think Grachev is now becoming our first choice left wing back, you know. He's racked up 3 assists in just 3 starts, struggled with injuries a little bit, so we've been bringing in Giaria, but he's struggled to get an average rating of a 7. I know 6.9 is nothing to be sniffed at, but we're going to give Grachev the nod for today's game. It's going to be a tough fixture. We're expecting Lyon to be good. A win takes us back to the top of the table. A defeat, as we're expecting, is no disgrace. Let's see how we get on. Okay, no denying this is going to be an incredibly tough fixture for us, an away game to boot. But we don't just want to bring you back for easy games just so we can show you our team winning. We want to show you the true realities of life in Ligue 1. And the true reality is you're going to be playing some tough games against some top teams. So we brought you back for one today. But you saw in our fixtures so far, we've beaten Monaco. We've beaten Marseille. We've shown that we're no mugs at this level. We've made a reasonable start to today's game as well, having the first shot of the game. So it's not a done deal that we will lose. But missing Carver and Al-Balushi is definitely a blow. We're feeling a little bit patched together today. And unlike last season, we've been scoring in every game so far that we've played this campaign. But we have looked a little bit more suspect at the back. We've been getting punished. We won a penalty here, by the way. Has Sturvold won the penalty? Or has he elbowed someone and is he about to get sent off? I didn't get to read the commentary. But we have been a little bit more suspect at the back. So we'll have to see how we get on today. A penalty here could be helpful. Al-Balushi is, of course, our penalty taker. And it's immaterial anyway because the referee has reviewed the footage and not given it. But we are pressing, aren't we? We've slung in another ball and you can see Nicolas is a threat when he comes up from the back. He's just hit the post there. That would have been his 5th goal of the season. And Ben Yeda, he's come in and nodded home a goal for us. We are honestly looking pretty impressive during this early part of the season. I'm still not expecting to get a win from this game. Lyon have got to be stung into life eventually. But we are competitive, and when we came up, we were debating whether this was going to be a season of relegation struggle or whether we could be more ambitious and push on for mid-table. Is that not offside, Souleymane Diallo? He's got to be standing in an offside position, hasn't he? We did fear the Lyon fight back. It's a set-piece goal which... oh, it's hit him and gone in, and I'm sure he is standing in an offside position. We did say that Lyon would be fighting back, but we have started this game pretty well, and we've started this campaign pretty well. And we're looking competitive in all of our games, and Sturvold has had a chance of his own. I think he was offside, but that's the second occasion we've hit the woodwork, and we've got a goal. That's a decent first half. The XG looks reasonable. Time for some words of encouragement, and then we'll go out there and see if we can steal a victory. Okay, we're back underway. We're keeping an eye on Sturvold, by the way. He's on a 6.6 currently. Not a superb performance. We'd like to see him try... oh, as he just dived in and got himself sent off. Straight red. Only when we bring you back for an episode do we see such reckless behaviour. Right, this is going to require a little bit of a reshuffle. Let's see what we can cobble together. We'll be back out there in a moment. Okay, it's just a minute into the second half that red card comes then. We've had to have a reshuffle. We've gone 4-2-3. That might leave us a little bit open at the back as they nod a chance wide. But I felt like we did pretty well in that first half. And if we go too defensive, our frailties might come to the fore. So we're going to try and keep that 3 up front, see if we can counter on them. We only play with a balanced mentality anyway, so we're always fairly cautious in our approach. Don't like to take too many risks. We just like to let our system play and let our front players do the damage. Let's see if they could sneak one more goal for us this afternoon. We brought Dubois on. He's going to play as a right back in a back 4 in place of one of our central defenders. Chan has got the ball out to BA. BA's back in the fold, by the way. After a season of sulking, he's doing pretty well now, so we're going to persist with him. Now have we won a penalty? The ref's going to have a look at the monitor again. You know, one of the big things I'm going to factor in for FM22, by the way, is looking for a save in a country where they don't have VAR. It's always an agonising watch. Is it going to go in our favour this time? Oh, the tension is palpable. Oh, penalty this time. Okay, I'm sure that could have all been done a lot quicker. Bat, I think, will be deputising for Al Belushi on the pens. Here he goes. And he has slammed it down the middle. 65 minutes on the clock. And we are 2-1 up with 10 men against Lyon. Okay, we are back underway. We've just pulled the line of engagement down from being very high to just regular high. We might drop that as soon as we get to 85 minutes. We might also make another little substitution as well because Chan is looking tired, as he often does. And you know what? I think we might use it as an opportunity to get some pace out into the team. So we're going to bring Larsen Pleam on. We're going to bring Sturvold into midfield. What's Sturvold finishing up as there? A 6.8. Not a disgrace. And it's going to help him learn the role. But Larsen Pleam, he's not going to play that role. We're going to ask him to be a conventional winger and just work up and down that right-hand side. We've got 12 minutes left. We've got an XG that's pretty good. I know that's inflated from the penalty award. We've been doing okay since we went down to 10 men. And we're attacking through Dubois. He's slung one in. Ben really has come into the team and been a superb little addition for us. Terrible thing to say, but we've not actually missed Al Belushi. He was the star man for us last season, but other players have stepped up. And one of them is Ben Yedder, who has now rattled in 7 goals in total, I think. Just checking, I think they might have Kai Havertz playing for them. He must be nearly 50 years old in this game. He's out there on the pitch and they're through, and they should have scored there. And we're going to use that as a signal to make one more change because Ba is looking pretty tired out there. We'll bring Giroud on there. And you know what? I think we might pull these 2 players back and get them both just to be conventional wingers. And we're also going to throw on more cautious tactics. We're also going to try and keep hold of the ball a little bit. We're going to waste time. 3-1 up. We should be able to see this game through. And we're going to be finishing this episode above PSG and top of the table if we can do it. XG of nearly 2.5 when we played much of the game with 10 men is pretty good, you know, pretty good. And Ben Yedder's been superb. Mensah at the back, Ba, Chan, Dubois, all played well. You'll see lots of our sulky players from when we first joined the club put in some good performances that game. Let's tell the boys that they did well, and let's bask in the warm glow of that table, shall we? Because with 9 games gone of the Ligue 1 season, we are 2 points clear of PSG. Who saw that coming? Absolutely not me. If any of you did, I'm not sure you're being true to yourselves. We're now going to go forward. We're going to play a few more games, but we're going to be back pretty soon again because looming large on the horizon is a home game against PSG. So we're going to go away and play just 4 fixtures. And we're going to bring you back for a big tie. You never know. If we perform all right in the next 4 games, it could even be a top-of-the-table clash. We are on our way, I think, to maybe securing some kind of FM21 redemption.